Hello everyone, MLT Magic Tricks here. So today I'm going to be giving you a performance and tutorial for this no setup self-working style card trick that should definitely be in your routine. So I would start this one off by having my spectator give the deck a shuffle. Once they are done, I would ask for the cards back and tell them I'm going to spread through and take out a prediction. So I'm just going to look through and take out my prediction card. I'm going to keep it face down on the table throughout the duration of the trick. We will get to it later in the performance. Right now, I would hand the deck over to my spectator and ask them to deal off cards one at a time from the top of the deck onto the table. After they deal a few, they can take off a couple cards at a time. It's up to them. Once my spectator's done dealing, I would tell them to place the rest of the deck off to the side, pick up the pile they just dealt, and deal these cards now into two piles right on the table. So they would deal off one card at a time here. So now we have two different piles, just like this. From here, I would ask my spectator to pick up one of these two piles and just deal a few cards from their pile onto the table. They don't have to deal all the cards. They can just deal a few. It's up to them. So let's say the spectator stops dealing right here, and they do have some extra cards, so I would tell them just to place those on top of the deck. Now we actually want to count how many cards my spectator just dealt there because we do need to know the exact number. So I would tell my spectator, go ahead and just count them out, or I could do it. It does not matter. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 cards. We did that because now we want that exact same number of cards in this other pile. So I would ask my spectator to deal out 6 cards from this pile onto the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do have some extra cards. We'll place those on top of the deck. We're going to put these two piles together now. So we have one pile of cards, and you can see they are spread out right here. What I'm going to do is eliminate some cards from this pile until we are left with 2, and I'm going to eliminate them in a specific way. I'm going to take the top and bottom card at the same time and just remove them. So I'm going to go through until we are only left with 2 cards. You can see now we're left with these 2. We're going to take the extra cards, place them on the deck. From here, we do not need the rest of the cards. We're only left with these 2 cards here. As you can see, now my spectator has one final decision that is very important. They are going to choose whether the first card I turn over is going to represent the value or a suit. So let's say my spectator wants the first card I turn over to represent a suit. So I would tell them, okay, the first card I turn over is the 4 of diamonds. The suit is diamonds. The other card is a 7, and this is going to be our value. So together, 7 and diamonds equals the 7 of diamonds. I'm going to now bring your attention back to my prediction that has been on the table throughout this whole trick, and you may think it's a complete miracle that my prediction is the 7 of diamonds. So guys, that is the card trick. I hope you liked it. If you want to learn how to perform it, make sure you watch the tutorial. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that performance. This is a really powerful card trick that is quite easy to perform, so grab your deck of cards and let's get right into the tutorial. This is a no setup effect, so you can begin with your spectator giving the deck a shuffle. Once they are done, you're going to ask for the cards back and tell them you're going to spread through and take out a prediction card. Now, what you're doing here while the deck is turned towards you is very important. You're first going to look at the top 2 cards in the deck because these top 2 cards are going to indicate to you what your prediction card is going to be. So I like to go with this method that the top card represents the value, and the card right below it, the second card from the top, represents the suit. So in this case, we have a 10 and a club. My prediction card would be the 10 of clubs. I would be doing that as I'm spreading through the cards to myself. I would take out the 10 of clubs and place it face down on the table. Now there is one thing you need to keep an eye out for, which is really important while you are doing this. There is a scenario that may happen that requires you to give the deck an additional mix-up. That scenario is if the top 2 cards have the same value or the same suit. You'll see here, if I have 2 10s, 10 of diamonds, the card is right there, so that won't work. Or if you have 2 cards on top that have the same suit, if I have 2 diamonds here, king of diamonds, it won't work because that's the top card. So that's just one scenario you need to keep an eye out for. It may happen. If it does, just give the deck a quick cut so you have 2 appropriate cards that will work on top. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. because it may happen. But once again here, we have the 10 of clubs as my prediction. Once you have got your prediction out and face down on the table, you're ready to proceed. You're going to hand the deck to your spectator and ask them to deal cards off one at a time from the top of the deck. Now, it's really important they deal off the first two because these are your little setup cards that you have there, right there on top. So they're going to deal those off first. Make them deal like 5 to 7 cards or so, and then you can tell them just to take off a couple cards at a time if they want. It's up to them. Just the main thing is that those first 2 cards, the top 2, go down, and they can stop wherever they want. Make sure they don't deal like the whole deck, just like half or so. They're not going to waste your time and deal a bunch of cards. So once they stop, place the rest of the deck off to the side. Have your spectator pick up these cards and instruct them to deal out these cards into 2 piles on the table, making sure they alternate between each pile. So you're just dealing off one at a time, left, right here, just like this. You'll see once we end off dealing the cards, the 2 that end up on top are your setup cards, the 10 of hearts and the ace of clubs. Obviously, your spectator does not know that. Now you're ready to move on with the trick. This part is also very important. You're going to ask your spectator to pick up one of the 2 piles here. Let's say they pick up this one, and you're going to ask them just to deal off a few cards from this pile that they just picked up onto the table. So they're dealing the first one. You can see that 10 is going down. And they're just going to deal a few. Don't have them deal all of them. Just, they can, tell them you can just deal a couple. You don't have to deal all of the cards here. Once they stop, tell them to place these remaining ones right there onto the deck. Now, what you need to do here, guys, is get that 10 that's on the bottom back to the top. And your excuse for doing that is counting how many cards they just dealt. So honestly, you can pick these up now and tell them, okay, we need to know the exact number of cards you just dealt there. So what you're going to do here, guys, is deal them right back down onto the table, but count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can do that, or your spectator. It's up to you, but regardless, you got that card back to the top, which is what you want. You're going to say, okay, the reason we did that is because we need to get that same amount of cards in this other pile. So you can have your spectator pick it up and tell them to deal out 7 cards. So they're going to go ahead and deal 7, and you can see what's going on here. The ace of clubs, your setup card, is going down first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're going to have some extra ones. Place those off to the side. And from here, you're ready to move on. You got one of your setup cards on the bottom of this pile, the other one on top of this. And this subtle step right here is crucial. You need to pick up the pile that your spectator was just dealing, the one where they, counted out the cards there, the last pile they dealt. This is going to go right on top of the earlier one, because now you'll see here the 10 and the ace are going right next to each other. So you're placing the pile that your spectator just dealt right on top. You're collecting them. From here, you're ready to move on to the finale. You're going to tell your spectator, okay, we have one pile of cards here. I'm just going to spread them out. And you're going to explain to them that you are going to eliminate some cards. So you're only left with 2. You're going to follow this pattern of taking the top and bottom card at the same time and just eliminating them. So it's going to look like this. Your spectator can see what's going on. You're not doing any sleight of hand. You're literally just taking the top and bottom card at the same time. And since this is a self-working card trick, you guys will see the final 2 cards that are left in the middle right here are going to be your setup cards. Now, there's a couple ways you can go about doing the ending. You can just end it off and say, okay, we have the 2 cards here, the 10 of hearts and the ace of clubs. Together, it's going to make 1 card. You would say, okay, the value is the 10, the suit here is clubs, that's a 10 of clubs, and you reveal the prediction. But I like to take it a step further and make it seem even more impossible. The cards are still going to be face down, so you're not going to know which is on the top and which is on the bottom. So what you need to do is take a quick peek. So you talk to your spectator, give a little misdirection, take a peek at the bottom card. So in this case, I see it's the ace of clubs. I have that in my head. I know that ace of clubs is the suit card. So now you're going to ask your spectator, you're going to make one final decision, and you're going to say, okay, the first card I turn over is either going to represent the suit or the value. Now from here, you need to do just some magician's choice. Follow along with me, guys. Trust me, it's going to make sense and it's going to be worth it. So let's say your spectator says suit. You would say, okay, you're just going to, if you hear suit and you know that bottom card is the suit card, you just turn it over and say, okay, right here, this card, the club, is going to be the suit, and the other one's going to be the value. Boom, 10 of clubs. If they said the first card you turn over they want it to be the value, your value cards on top. All you have to do is say, okay, here is the value card. This is the 10. Then the other one's the suit, 10 of clubs, and then you reveal the prediction. So I like to do that ending. It just adds to the mystery of the effect, and it's really awesome. Your spectator's going to be completely confused because, they're going to have no idea how your prediction ended up matching these cards. So guys, that's the tutorial. I hope it made sense. Let me know if you have any questions. Definitely give this trick a try. Thank you for watching. I will see you in my next one. Peace out.